Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for our final series of the night. Only two teams left stand in the way of Blaze finally being able to qualify. You know, they were in the round of 4 in the first qualifier, but dropped out to Bob Ross Fan Club. They were in the round of 4 in the last qualifier and dropped out to Tempo Storm in a very close series. They want to qualify. They know that they have made it so close every time, but they still have to defeat oVo Gaming, and it's a team who knows them. They scrim against them sometimes, but they also faced each other at Heroes Rising. But in that series, Blaze were able to win 2-0 in that, so they do at least have the upper hand going into this.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, I think Blaze is considered one of the best teams in North America. Like, the top 5 are all pretty close right now, and Blaze is considered in that. It's going to be tough for oVo Gaming for sure.
We will have the draft very soon. In fact, it just started, and it will be on Cursed Hollow. Blaze is going to have first pick, first ban.
And they're going to deny the stitches, because it's a comfort pick for the Oculus.
Yeah, I love getting to cast teams who play against each other quite a bit and practice versus each other, because sometimes you see different picks and different bans, especially too, because of the fact that they know each other so much. So Stitch is going to be the choice of ban here, potentially a Rhaegar ban from oVo, and that will be what they choose to take away from Yuge.
Yeah. Blaze with their first pick, what are they going to pick up? I mean, clearly, at least based off what the games we've been casting from these guys, Kael'thas is no longer first pick, first ban priority. He even went through an entire draft last game, oVo versus the other team, THC White.
Yes.
And Blaze ended up last picking him once, and I think in the other game he was not picked, or banned. So these teams at least have an interesting idea of where Kael'thas falls. But Blaze is going to go ahead and first pick Falstad. No surprise, it gets Cursed Hollow, right?
Yeah.
We talked about how influential Mighty Gus is on this map, not only in team fights, but for contesting bosses.
Yep, and his global presence, of course, makes it a lot easier to keep up the lane soak for as long as possible before flying into team fights around those bosses or around those tributes. What's an interesting thought to me is whether the teams really believe that Kael'thas is much worse, or if it's something where, since a patch came out right in the middle of this qualifier, on day 2 of it, and they haven't really had time to mess around with him and figure out his place in the compositions, they're just kind of shying away from him. I'll be interested to see where Kael'thas' place will be in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, Chain Bomb is still always going to be good, but people feel he's a little less viable because of the nerf to Phoenix or to the nerf of Arcane Bear. We'll see where he ends up falling. Even if we do have Kael'thas nerfed into Oblivion, the damage pool is still very, very strong for Heroes of the Storm. So I'm going to pick up Jaina Zagara. Zagara's great on this map creep for scouting, not only when ganks are coming, but for putting that around bosses. Really good. Jaina's burst is probably, especially with this last patch, she's probably the #1 mage in the game right now.
Yeah, the buffs to both Frostbolt and Cone of Cold have been very nice, even despite the nerfs to her auto attacks. But that's never been what Jaina has been about, and I really like those changes that came into her today. Muradin, the pickup for Blaze Battery, is a Muradin machine. We see him play Muradin a lot. Had some really cool. I was reviewing the replay when they played Tempo Storm on Battlefield of Eternity on Sunday, and he had some really cool stuns into the Immortal stuns. Really great timings on those. Yeah,
it was really, really well done. I like this draft from Blaze. They secure themselves a hyperly contested pick, which is Falstad. And then, this is what I've been talking about over the last week or so, is, there's so many good assassins in this game. Zeratul, Fala, Sylvanas, Raynor, Greymane, Lunara, Kael'thas, Jaina, Zag. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's so many potentially viable picks, especially with the rise of either double support compositions and double warrior comp set. Warriors and supports are going to be way more contested than they ever were before. And with this draft, we see that Blaze, they do secure themselves one of the high priority damages, which would be Falstad, Jaina, and Zagara, but they also then lock in the Muradin and Karazim, which just secures themselves getting the supports and warriors that they wanted, even if, there are bans like we see on Zeratul from OVO Gaming, and then they pick up another damage here. There's still so many picks for Blaze to lock in for damage that just securing that Karazim and Muradin is going to be very beneficial for them.
I also like this from Blaze too because it's Blaze, right? They have a tendency to do crazy stuff. And so putting Falstad, Muradin, and Karazim really hides that completely. They could go completely standard here, and that would be strange because it is Blaze, and that's not something that we see from Blaze a lot. Or they could be hiding an Illidan Abathur here or something else. We don't know, and so I like that too as OVO, unless they've seen like this exact draft. Could be completely flabbergasted by what comes out from the next two picks from Blaze. But for now, Zeratul, I do like that denial for Claudius. Also, Johanna will be the choice of ban for Blaze. And now OVO are looking at potentially picking up ETC as their warrior.
Yeah, I mean, ETC makes a lot of sense here. Despite the Falstad and the Muradin, I'm not a big fan of Double Warrior or Solo Warrior Diablo. And Sonya doesn't count as in that situation. Having Sonya as your other warrior doesn't count as Double Warrior. So ETC makes sense. I mean, it is against a Muradin and a Falstad, which are both great counters to Mosh Pit, but it's a tough call to make with Joanna and Sitches both banned out. I mean, what do you do here? You don't really have. You have to go ETC in this situation. I just feel like the Diablo is way too risky versus the Karazim.
Yeah. They could still pick up Mosh Pit and then just use it when they are able to catch somebody out and use it to just get picks that way, or we have seen some occasional stage dives come into play since we do have Falstad so often in the meta, in almost every single game. So it will be ETC as the warrior pickup here, and they've got a lot of lockdown, a lot of damage thus far, just waiting on who that support will be as their final pick.
Well, we'll see here what Blaze wants to lock in. Could still see Double Warrior. Blaze has always been a fan of Diablo. This is Cursed Hollow, and it is Blaze, so Abathur is always an option as well. They don't have the best clone targets right now, but they're not necessarily bad ones as well. We've seen Falstad clones that fly into the backline aggressively to zone someone out. I have a scrim game where Soldier soloed two people on a Muradin clone, so even that's possible. And there it is, Lunara. I mean, like I said, the damage pool is so deep right now for Heroes of the Storm that there's just, Vala, Sylvanas, Raynor, Lunara, Greymane, Illidan, Abathur, like you talked about. There's so many good options right now for these guys to pick up, and it will be the Lunara. I'm curious, if Lunara Falstad is a very squishy backline, I think I would like to see Double Warrior here, just to keep the Lunara alive. Lunara is so squishy. I mean, even Kel'Thas I didn't mention, by the way. He's still up as well. These teams don't seem to prioritize him, but still available.
Yeah, I think it comes down to who Claudius wants to play. Most likely, I think it's Jason who plays Lunara, but it could be Rafflecopter and Jason on Falstad. But it's going to come down to their flex player, and they're looking at potentially doing a damage Karazim with Lieutenant Morales, the support choice. Zoya's just shaking his head.
They're so strange sometimes.
Damage Karazim is real, man.
I know. We saw it that one game that we casted. He did like 60,000 damage.
Yeah.
It was insane. But, it's okay. It works because of the Lunara. I would have liked it maybe better if it was Lunara Kel'Thas, just because it's so much damage late game. Double support does have a place right now, and we're seeing it pretty often. But with this, it actually forces them onto Malfurion. As their support. So not only did Blaze forced two really awkward picks. They forced ETC and Malfurion, both who are very weak versus Falstad. Gust is just such a hard counter to both of them right now. And even if they went Hinterland's Blast, which we did see them run yesterday, Malfurion heals cannot keep up with that kind of burst. We've seen Lunara damage as well. It's insane. We've seen Karazim damage. It's insane. I'm interested in the Malfurion pick over Uther, but I guess they're just
really concerned with trying to keep up with the Lunara damage in the late game. I mean, they have lots of bursts, but just like, she could put poison on everyone pretty quickly, and trying to keep up with that with the Uther's long cooldowns.
Trying to get all of oVo in this lobby. We are missing one member. And then we'll be ready to go.
We're missing Trap Queen.
He's the worst.
We'll be there soon, guys. Meanwhile, hello.
Hello.
So we will be on Cursed Hollow for the first game. This will be a best of 3, and the winner will move on. And I'm going to give you guys a quick bracket update while we are waiting for Trap Queen to hop into this game. The winner of this will go on to face either the winner of King of Blades Alpha or Tuark, who are facing off right now. Also, we have Panda Global playing at King of Blades Epsilon. So King of Blades actually has 2 different teams who are in this round of 8. And finally, the last match of the quarterfinals are Team Nam versus Resurgence. Resurgence, a team that we got to cast in both of the last 2 qualifiers, and they almost made it in the last qualifier. They were in the round of 4 versus Cognitive Gaming, so a lot of people really believing that it would be Blaze along with Resurgence qualifying in this particular tournament. But this will be the last round. The semifinals will be covered tomorrow.
Yes, this will be the last round. There are other streams going on as well, covering all of these round of 8 games that we just mentioned. So if you look at the top of the stream, or just go to the Twitch page for Heroes Esports, you can see all the streams that are live right now and check into what games are going on.
You can also, I think, put ! streams, I think is what I have for Nightbot, and that can give you the team page that has all of the different streams currently covering this tournament. And it seems like the Oculus went to get water, but is now back, and we are almost ready. I'm really excited here. Both of these teams we got to hang out with at Heroes Rising. They were really fun to get to meet. I'm sad that one of them has to be eliminated here, but that's how it goes.
Well, we are loading in now, Gilly. Game number 1 of this best of 3 series, who will advance to the round of 4 for that coveted, so great qualifying spot for the North American Regionals. And we'll find out after this series, 2 to 3 games away, Gilly, and we will know. So exciting. Cursed Hollow, Blaze versus oVo. Again, these teams have met before. We casted them actually versus each other at Heroes Rising, as well as, like you said, they are scrim partners. So these guys have a history together. We'll see what mind games come into these games.
We are ready. In the blue, we have Team Blaze with Rafflecopter playing Lunara, Yuge playing Lieutenant Morales, Jason playing Falstad, Muradin played by Battery, and finally it will be Claudius playing Karazim.
Yep, and he is going damage build.
Yes,
so
Iron Fists.
We'll talk about that in a minute, Gilly, as we have the other team on the right-hand side of the map, oVo Gaming. It's going to be Lex Uther on Malfurion, Theokos playing EDC, Talaz playing the Jaina. We see Trap Queen on Sonya, and rounding out the team on Zagara, it's going to be Giletto. And, we got some Battle Beasts being ridden here by Talaz and Trap Queen, and it tilts me. Yeah, I know you guys got flashy mounts, but you choose Battle Beasts, guys. Come on, you got to look good when you play this game.
Yeah, you got to up your swag factor just a bit. You did mention Iron Fist is the pickup, so almost always we see Karazim's getting Transcendence, but in this instance they don't need that extra healing as they already have Lieutenant Morales, and he'll be looking to throw out just a little bit extra damage with those basic attacks. For Lunara, it will be the Cruel Spores. Helps more when it comes to trying to be a better lane presence because of the fact that you can have her Crippling Spores up more often, and it doesn't use as much mana because it does give you some back. But that's only if it hits minions and mercenaries.
Well, the good thing going on here for oVo is that they have a lot of great laners. Malfurion is one of the better laning supports because of Moonburn. You got Sonya, who's one of the better solo laners, as well as Zagara. Now, there is a good laner on the end of Blaze, which is the Falstad, who is fighting the Sonya at the top. But overall, when it comes to controlling the lane phase, I have a good feeling that oVo Gaming should be fine. They're just really well equipped for dealing with any early aggression. Actually, they get Muradin in the mid lane.
And they caught him. Lex Luthor with some really good entangling roots. But Jason already had rotated down, so good calls from the team, knowing that he was probably going to get taken out, having Jason come down here to make sure they didn't lose out on any of the minions. Because they had been pressed so far forward already in the lane, they could have easily, OVO Gaming that is, pushed those minions in and made Blaze lose it. So it was really important that he rotated exactly when he did.
Well, both teams getting closer to level 4. Jason is going to go ahead and rotate mid. Putting him here might allow him to be a little bit more aggressive in lane. Cloudless feels like he can hold top just fine. His Trap Queen's not being too aggressive up there, being pretty safe as he can. Rafflecopter utilizing the Wisp just to make sure that they can be as aggressive in lane as they want versus the Zagara and be able to get out in time with the Wisp. You have to keep in mind, she's got that movement speed increase, but there is no mount or gap closer on the end of Rafflecopter. So Lunara has to use the Wisp to make sure that she doesn't get flanked because it's a little bit harder for her to get away.
They also knew that there were a couple of people off the battleground too, as Talaz and the Oculus did go immediately to pick up the Giants as soon as they spawned, and that's really great for them because the randomness of this battleground is favoring them as the Tribute will be spawning in the top. So that is going to be pushing down. Lunara is going to have to stay down there while the rest of the members, all of OVO Gaming, is coming up here. So they will have a 5v4. They can hopefully be able to either secure this, maybe even get a couple of kills on top of it.
Power slide goes down. Theocles on the backline on Jason, but he's getting some light damage put onto him. He has to be careful. Talaz, Lex Luthor, and Gelato all going for a cap. Grenade's going to interrupt one of them, but it's going to be a very early Tribute going to OVO. Nice cap there from that team. Good zoning coming out. It's a tough game here for Blaze in the early game. I think they're going to have to mainly give up the next, unless they get a pick, they're going to have to give up the next Tribute as well. With the damage Karazim and the slower start that Lunara has, it's going to be harder for them to win these Tributes. This is a really good early fighting team coming out from OVO. You got Zagara, who's great. Jaina's got insane burst. Sonya's actually getting really low in the top line, but not going to end up going down. But, I wouldn't be too surprised if Blaze gives up the next one as well and then starts making the fight as they get closer to 10.
The great thing about this damage Karazim is he is great at being able to solo those mercenary camps, and he's already going to pick up their Giants. On the side of OVO, they have Sonya to be able to help with that too, so both sides have good jungling heroes on either side. And both almost about to pick up level 7 talents too. We'll see what they grab. For now, although we did have Iron Fists at level 1, we still do have a Healing Ward. Should be Fury of 1,000 Fists or something like that. At level 7 for him, that's usually when you get the damage Karazim, the pickup at level 7. Oh no, he's going Echo of Heaven, so we are going to have full-on double heals here, even though he got Iron Fists.
Yeah, it looks like they want to outlast them just a little bit. The extra heals could be quite beneficial in the longer fights here. Good zoning coming out. This is exactly how Blaze needed to win this fight. They needed to zone people out, get them split up to be able to cap that. That's exactly what they did. Great fight from Blaze, and they do secure the second Tribute. It is now tied 1-1, and the longer in the game this goes, they don't get behind as Lex Luthor are trying to catch Jason here. Battery does end up rotating as well, so no gank on Jason. Really good play so far coming out from both these teams.
So both going immediately back into lane, making sure that they don't lose out on any of the soak. Murden going to rotate back down into the mid, and with these rotations, looking to see if they can catch somebody out, but that does leave Falstad by himself, and he can't deal with this strong push from OVO, so they are going to lose another tower to them. But with their their ability to rotate back into lanes fast, they've been able to keep up, even despite losing 1 kill and some structures to OVO, they still are keeping up with experience, and that's really important, as the next one will be that Tribute that happens around the heroic abilities.
Well, you do have the claps coming up here. They're going straight onto Talaz. He's got no escape. The root comes out. But that's a nice turnaround onto Falstad, actually. 1-for-1 exchange. They're trying to get on Sonya. Nice dodge on the power side from Theoclos here. Battery trying to get out here. Doesn't have the Dwarf Toss. Good heals from Clyde, just keeping them alive. So 1-for-1 exchange. Experience still slightly in favor of Blaze. Now, with Falstad being the one that died, this is a slight advantage to Blaze. If they can rotate to this in time, Falstad can fly in and be there faster than the Jaina, who died almost at the same time as him. But good job zoning from Theoclos. They're trying to get in range for it. Huge wants to go for the grenade. Rafflecopter tries to get there in time, but not going to be able to do it. They're going to turn around on the Trap Queen. So the third Tribute going over to OVO Gaming.
Well, now they're facing the potential for for a curse from oVo Gaming, and thankfully they do still have a good handle on the experience battle thus far, as they are about to pick up their heroic abilities. Both sides going to try to grab those and look to have those for the next fight and have an all-out brawl, since they know that Blaze will be trying to defend that. But I like going up and trying to get mercenaries, just pushing as much as possible, trying to force Blaze to have to respond to those and allow them to get into a better position around those tribute fights.
Take a look at the first heroics taken this game from Blaze. It's going to be 7 Side Strike, Mighty Gust, Avatar, Stim Drone, and Thornwood Vine picked up. Everything standard here coming out for Blaze. Nothing different. No medevac this game. They're going to be giving that Stim Drone to the Falstad or to the Lunara. Both can do really good damage from their poke. So we'll see who they want to focus that onto. And the next tribute is spawning. Blaze has to win this one because this will be them getting cursed. And the other heroics have been picked up, Gilly.
Yep, oVo have Mosh Pit, Devouring Maw, Water Elemental, Tranquility, and Wrath of the Berserker. I like, we've got Culling, or Nature's Culling for Lunara, so that plus the Cruel Spores is much more focused on pushing and being able to take out mercenaries as much as possible. It helps them too with being able to take out bosses as much as possible, but you do give up the Wild Vigor and increasing attack damage there, so less in terms of team fights. But they are trying to team fight here. Talaz coming around from the side. It is poisoned, has a lot of Nature's Toxin on there, and the Thornwood Vine is coming out. It forces the Water Elemental to push back Rafflecopter. Meanwhile, Jason and Battery up in the top, trying to catch out the Oculus. A lot of damage from 7-sided strike does bring him down to about half health, but they still have a lot of healing available from Malfurion, and Tranquility has yet to be popped.
Showing the value of this double support composition. I mean, they were split up completely, but with Claudius going top with Jason keeping alive and Huge being with the other two at the bottom, and they do secure this kill on the cigar. No, the nice Tranquility timing from Lex Luthor, but they do end up getting Gillette through at Mosh Pit in the backline, only catching Falstad. Simdrone has been used on top of him, Claudius getting low, but being healed up. Nice Dwarf Toss from Battery, Avatar has been popped, Trap Queen getting so low to Rafflecopter, and they do secure the kill. Nice Gust from Jason as well. Theoculus gets a nice big 4-man power slide, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive, and that's going to be the tribute going over to Blaze. I mean, that was so well executed from them. I got really nervous for Blaze at the start of that fight. They were very, very split up, but showing why that level 7 talent was such a good pickup on Claudius. Echo of Heaven keeping so many people alive in that fight. Him and Huge kept them alive through situations that normally when it's a big split like that, everyone just dies, but it didn't matter because of this comp.
And really importantly, they got a boss, Falstad, already flying up and going to, looks like, just get back into the lane. They know they're really close to picking up level 13, but oVo are working on the boss of their own, and do Blaze realize this? It looks like even if they do, they know they had to go back, they had to heal up and make sure they were ready for the next fight, as it's that all-important curse fight. So instead, they're just pushing with the boss and going to help it pick up this fort so that it will move on to the keep. So during this fight, we'll have bosses pushing against both of the teams, but importantly, level 13 has been secured by Blaze.
And a really good boss spawn position, or excuse me, tribute spawn position, as the boss is pushing bottom lane. If they cap this, they're able to rotate to the boss, as Battery is already starting to do, to try and do as much damage with this boss during the curse. The Battery already in a very aggressive position. Nice stun on the Sonya into the slam from the boss, and we see Claudius going to get a little bit of extra damage. 7-sided strikes goes down. That's a lot of damage going down. Huge here to keep up Battery and Claudius as well. Boss is about half HP. Maw catches both supports inside of it, but the root from the boss doing a lot of damage, hitting 3 members. Bad clumping up there from oVo Gaming. The boss still about a third of its HP left, still very healthy, as the curse is preventing any damage from this fort. Another root goes on, nice stun, and that's going to be the Theoculus going down. Malfurion not able to keep anyone alive because he was not there, Gilly.
Unfair Advantage has been picked up, and it does so much work from Blaze too. They have a lot of stun, or a slow potential, which is what gives it that 50% more damage, that Nature's Toxin, and they have that off of the Hammering. They have that from Thunderburn that was picked up, as well as just the initial slow that happens with Thunderclap too. So they have a lot of abilities that can really help that Unfair Advantage do a lot more damage, and with that, you're able to get now a 3-level lead. Still no level 16 for OVO, or level 13 for oVo Gaming, but we've got a really big fight as the Mighty Gust goes in. A great Mosh Pit is going to help pick up a kill on Lieutenant Morales, and that was key because now they have their 13 talents and they're chasing down Battery. Will they be able to catch up with him? Lex Luthor is mounting up, should be able to hit him with a Moonfire, yes, to dismount, and now they're going to try to pull him in. No Mighty Gust to help him get away, and yes, they will be able to get Battery as well.
Punished for being a bit too greedy there. Blaze might end up losing a third member here. Jason trying to keep alive the Spear Connect, but that's a dead false. That RIP him, Jason, going to be dead for another 35 seconds. Giants doing some light damage to the core, but not going to take any of the permanent damage just yet. But yeah, Blaze getting punished for the greed. That was a great mosh pit, hitting 3 members. The Oculus really executed that perfectly, and they were able to secure themselves kills. They're still not level caught up just yet, though. They're about down a level and a half as Blaze just now hit level 16.
oVo Gaming stealing the Giants away up in the top, but then it'll be able to be cleaned up a lot without too much trouble, and I like the decision to just let them have it, regroup, let everyone come back in and get healthy. They know that they still have the lead, so there's no reason to start getting really greedy and further give that lead away. So instead, we're going to start getting back out. Falstad immediately flying back into the lane, try to continue that soak and just make sure that they can maintain that experience lead. Looking at level 16 that we have, still more healing for Cladius on Karazim, as he did pick up Echo of Heaven and then Circle of Life at level 16 too, and they're going for another fight, Zoya.
Trap Queen getting very low, just barely going to get out of there. Really dangerous choke to be fighting in, as there's a lot of great heroics that can be used here. If a monster Ma comes out from Gilletto in that fight, that would have been really bad for Blaze, but they are pushing in this middle lane here. The front wall gets burnt down very, very quickly, and they're going to be able to at least secure that, giving themselves, again, a little bit more of an experience lead as they're just about to hit level 17. Diako's taking some damage, nice knockback there. He's taking a lot, actually, and then Rafflecopter getting Lex Luthor and Gilletto to half health by himself. That just shows you the power of Lunara. Look how much just dot damage that comes out from him.
Yeah, it's a problem, and you can see that they realize this. Lex Luthor's build is full on heals. We have rampant growth, enduring growth at level 7, and then Life Seed follow up too, sacrificing, being able to have the ice block along with Tranquility to keep everyone alive, just to make sure that he has heals up more often with Life Seed to counteract the damage that's being thrown out from Rafflecopter and then also Falstad. And now they've got a stun onto Oculus. They need to be careful not to get too grouped up for the mosh pit, as well as Devouring Maw, because if they lose this fight, then they do give a curse to oVo Gaming, who have freshly picked up level 16 talents.
We're frozen in the fight. Nice 7-side strike. Trap Queen and Diako's taking a lot of damage, but a lot of damage going on to Claudius. He gets back just in time. Good heals from Yuge. The battery has to leap on out of there. Good Gust to disengage the Tranquility for now. Allows the supports to top everyone up on Blaze. Blaze doing a really good job with this fight. And with Tranquility down, they have to give it up. They have to back out. They cannot force the fight. So really, really great job from Blaze there.
Bosses are up 20 seconds until the top one and the bottom one is ready, and Blaze are going to start heading to that. Wondering what oVo will choose to do. They know that everyone is off the map now. Only Falstad was up top, and now he's even gone back. Stim Drone going to be used to help make sure that they can pick this up before the tribute. They know that the tribute's pretty soon, and it's in a pretty tough spot for Blaze because it's top. They might have just gotten a curse because of this.
They might be okay with that, though. This could turn into a all-in core push here from Blaze at a really interesting time. As they do secure this boss. I mean, Theocles already realizes something's going on, and he's backing out immediately. Everyone's starting to hearth back home. They know that Blaze is looking to end the game right now. Yes, the curse is on Blaze, but Blaze knows with the power of these Giants, they don't even need counterpulse with the boss, that they can potentially end the game here. They just need a pick or two. And with how long they can live in these fights, the boss, if it doesn't get focused fire down, that will get the core by itself.
We'll see what they're able to get with this. They still have to come through a choke, and that's a potential for Oculus to catch some people with the mosh pit. They realize that the stun's trying to go down. They're trying to get him now. Tala's already very low. 7-sided strike used, but split over several members in the back. Lex Luthor and Tala's taking a bunch of damage, and Rafflecopter is relentless with this poison. Lex Luthor has to use Tranquility. Oculus, nearly dead, uses mosh pit and instantly gets hit out of it with the grenade. So now that's going to be down for this. Boss starting to work on the core, starting to throw permanent damage down. And everyone very healthy from Team Blaze as they take out ETC.
Beautiful shot calling from Blaze, knowing that this would be game. oVo had to make a decision, and they had to commit to it. They either needed to all in the fight, which is so hard to do versus this double support lineup that has so much mobility in it, or they needed to all in the boss. And the moment they went in, they started to fight that, and then they realized the core was going to take damage. They backed off of the boss, and the moment they started backing up, Blaze went very aggressive, forcing the fight onto oVo, who had already used a lot of abilities. They're going to have struggle keeping everyone alive. I mean, that call was so perfect from Blaze. It was almost a checkmate situation. the only way they would have lost it if they messed up. It was just because of their composition, because they could live in a fight long enough, and if they were distracted fighting the boss instead, they would win the fight. It was just perfectly executed from Blaze. That was a situation that they were not going to lose in no matter what.
Even if they had lost that fight there, they had so much going for them still. Yes, they were cursed, but they had forced back the members of OVO for so long that a lot of the curse had already been used up, and they had all but one fort up too. So really great decision making from them, knowing exactly when they can be aggressive. The damage from Rafflecopter was insane. Lunara is just a beast now, and so difficult to deal with all of that poison too. Lex Luthor had all of the healing talents. He sacrificed so much and significantly the ice block to just try to keep his teammates up, and even that, like, that just couldn't be done.
Yeah, really, really well done from Blaze. I mean, they executed this strategy, this composition, almost flawlessly. I mean, they struggled in the early game because it is a more late-game scaling composition, but when it came down to team fights, I mean, there was just no killing anyone on Blaze. And the sustained damage from Lunara was more than enough. So, guys, we're going to go quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll have game number 2, Blaze versus OVO. Will Blaze be able to make the top 4 again for the 3rd qualifier in a row, or will OVO bring it to game 3?
We'll see.
Meow.
All right, guys, we're back with game number 2 between OVO Gaming and Blaze. Blaze up 1-0 in this best of 3 and looking for a quick 2-0 victory to get back into the round of 4. But can they do it? You are muted. That's what you get for making fun of me during break.
Well, you deserve to be made fun of, okay?
Nope.
Game number 2, guys. But before we dive into that, make sure you get on Twitter and use the hashtag HTC and tag Esports Heroes in it. It's been a long day.
Terrifying face. It has been. I think it's just the fact that this is like drawn out over a few days.
Fun fact, Gillyweed, guess what? we know who plays the winner of the series tomorrow. It's going to be King of Blades Alpha.
Wow, good for them.
Yep, they ended up taking the series over to Arc, and they will play the winner of this set. Still no updates on the King of Blades Epsilon, as well as versus Panda Global, or the Team Nom versus Resurgence. Still waiting on updates from those.
Hopefully we'll have updates on those by the time we come back out of this game or out of the series. If we have game 3, looks like we are starting the draft.
Yay!
Switch over to that. Yay! And we're gonna be on Sky Temple. How do you feel about that?
It's cool. Homie, it's real chill. Aight. It's a fun map. I love Sky Temple.
Seems to be a pick that Blaze likes to do, because they did the same thing. Wait, no, they did not pick Sky Temple in the last
Blaze
series.
denying the Falstad. Oh, Snizzap.
I thought we saw that. It makes a lot of sense, right? They know the power of it. They've been playing it, and we see that from teams a lot. Heroes that they know are very powerful and they feel are very powerful, not wanting to allow the other team to have them. Seems to be a pretty common theme. Zagara going to be banned by oVo, and they're going to pick up Rhaegar for their first choice. The Ray God returns.
Rhaegar. He's not going to be disregarded.
I knew you were going to bring
disregarded.
The minute I said Rhaegar. What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Disregarded.
Why are you there? Get back.
Disregarded. No, he's not.
Personal
he's not
space.
Disregarded this time. As he is picked up by oVo. Blaze is going to go ahead and lock in Stitch's Jaina. We've seen them prioritize warriors in their drafts throughout the last few days. So no surprise seeing Stitch is picked up. And of course, Jaina probably the best damage in the game when it comes to casters.
Yeah, especially with the changes to Kael'thas. She is moving back in to the
Not only
number
the changes
one
to Kael'thas,
place.
her changes too.
Yes, her changes as well. But who knows if that will stay once Li Ming is available, because she won't be available till regionals, and no changes to her as of yet with this week's balance patch.
We'll see. oVo Gaming here picks up the Sonya and the Lunara, it looks like. Dang. They getting cray.
A priority on the poisons. All right, so they have a lot of damage. They also have their support. So when looking at the next set of bans, could potentially ban a support. But Yuge has a lot of supports that he can play, and regularly plays like all of them.
Yeah, it's very hard to chokehold Blaze. I don't even know if it's possible. They play so many like off-the-wall picks that they're probably used to running everything.
Maybe we'll see them ban Zeratul again, as that seems to be a very common second ban versus Blaze. Anybody who's scribbed against them just realizes the minute Cladius gets on there, it's a little scary. But what will Blaze choose to ban here? They could be limiting warriors. With Falstad out of the picture, I was going to say ETC maybe, but it looks like they've been just constant with this Johanna ban.
Gonna go ahead and deny the Johanna. Yeah, I mean, I like it. It makes complete sense. I've been alluding to it over the last few days that, warriors and, especially with the nerf of TFT warriors and supports, they're going to be more highly contested than ever. So we do see that Johanna gets banned out. Looks like oVo's going to respond with a Lieutenant Morales ban, which I agree with completely. Yuge is ridiculously good on this hero.
Yeah. And the team, in general, is very good at being able to make sure that he stays safe. They practice it a lot, they play it a lot, they compete with it a lot, and with Stitches in front, they could possibly do another warrior, although it looks like they see the Zeratul opening, and they're like, guys, we never get this, let's do it, we're going to do it, and they're going to take it.
They're going to pick Zeratul, they're going to pick Abathur too, and I have cast them. And I believe it's happened to them twice in competitive matches where they've gone Zeratul. Oh, no.
Yay!
Cho'Gall.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
They should just have Cho's face and then Gall's face. It's the same image twice on this draft. And I don't like it.
I'm sorry that it affects you so.
What if they wanted to pick Gall first anyways? Why does Cho have to be in front? Raynor Leoric getting picked up. I mean, both those picks make complete sense. Raynor is a monster at 13 versus Cho, as the Giant Killer scales very, very well. You have to keep in mind that Cho Gall being 2 heroes as one has an inflated health pool, as well as Leoric, as the Drain Soul is health percentage based. I am tilted. Just by them hovering it.
We'll see if that's actually the little baby panda, but I could believe it with Blaze. But yeah, you hit it right on the head. They have Giant Killer potential with Raynor as well as Lunara. She can pick that up instead of getting the unfair advantage at level 13. And I don't see why not, right? When you're up against the Cho'Gall, that's going to be very beneficial versus him as well as versus Stitches. Is this the supportive choice? It is the supportive choice. What's really funny is that my friend Stark actually messaged me and asked if they were going to play Lily this game. I kid you not. That is hilarious.
You know, we talk about...
Ready for adventure, Zoia!
We talk about how you can't choke hold Blaze out of any role, and this goes to prove it. I mean, there were fantastic supports still available. Uther was on the table. No, they didn't pick Uther. Karazim, great mobility, good heals. Maybe not the best with Cho, but still fantastic support. Even Malfurion, you know, great support. But you know what they did, Gilly? They didn't pick Tyrande. They didn't pick Tassadar. They picked Lily.
They did.
You can't target ban Blaze.
Are you ready for adventure?
I am always on an adventure because I eat Taco Bell.
Well, that ruined any hope of anything I was going to say after that. So, just moving on. Don't forget, guys, there is still time for you to tweet about how awesome this is that we get a Cho'Gall Lily Stitches game from Blaze. Hello. And with Cho'Gall and the way they were picked there, oVo had a lot of time to pick things to work against it. So maybe this is where oVo bring it back. Maybe this is the game that Blaze loses, because so far they are undefeated in this qualifier. So make sure you tweet using the hashtag HGC. Tweet us too. We want to hear what you think.
Yeah, get on social media and let us know, guys. It is a pretty awesome event. You know, Blizzard loves to hear the kind of feedback, not only just, you know, what you think about the streams and the events, but just what you think about the game, because they're so excited about Heroes of the Storm, and they're, you know, finally going in a direction that is very, you know, hands-on. You got tweets constantly from Dustin Browder. We've got constant updates from all the community managers on what patches are coming, you know, what they're doing with the game's direction, keeping us informed. You know, they not only want to know what you think about the competition, but how much you love these heroes and the games they're designing. So go ahead, let them know. Use that hashtag HGC and you know, get things going.
These guys in chat are wrecking me. They reminded us that when we were at Heroes Rising, it was those two teams plus us and then a few other community members like JHow and DJ Tyrant. We were all at in and out the first evening of Heroes Rising. You remember that?
Yeah.
It was a good time.
It was alright. That was a long wait for average food, but, you know, the company was good.
It was fun. We basically took over like this outside area with tables, and we all just hung out and talked heroes.
There was a lot of people there. It's like 3 teams.
There were a lot of teams there. But they can't always be friends, as sometimes they have to fight each other, and that is this case, as we are on Sky Temple. And in the blue, it is Team Blaze with Claw Asen playing Cho'Gall, that is Claudius, as well as Jason. Yuge will be playing Lily, Battery is going to be playing Stitches, and finally Rafflecopter will be playing Jaina.
On the right of the map, give them some cheers, raise your dongers, because OVO Gaming's tournament life is on the line. Talaz playing Raynor, Trap Queen on Sonya, Gilletto playing the Lunara, Lex Uther on Ray God himself, and Theoculus rounding out the team on Leoric.
The gates are open, the battle has begun. And already I'm seeing some interesting talent choices, but let's talk about them. Let's wait and do that after what might transpire here as the hook goes out. Nobody caught. Man, it really looked like it was going to catch somebody. But
just barely.
Yes.
Just barely not able to now. I know from scrims I've seen that Blaze's Cho'Gall is, I don't know how to put this, on a different level of obnoxious when it comes to his play style. They are very good at abusing Cho'Gall and being very good at just not dying. So I'm really excited to see Blaze play Cho'Gall here versus a very good team. You know, they're going to have to push Cho'Gall to their limits.
Speaking of Cho'Gall, looking at some of the talents that they have picked up thus far, we have Kilrog at level 1, giving and granting vision. It'll be really important if they are going to solo this bottom lane, making sure that they don't become vulnerable to any sort of ganks, although they do have ways to get away, like Hurry Up Oath as well as Surging Fist. But we also have Blazing Bulwark at level 1, which grants a bunch of stacks, actually. You can get a bunch of stacks of block if you get a really good consuming blaze, and block is going to be really necessary for them, as we talked about it in the draft. There's a lot of auto attack heroes on the side of OVO Gaming with Lunara and Raynor and Zoia, even Rhaegar too.
Well, let's see what they're going to do for these contentions here. I mean, with the lane split up right now, there's a lot of soak being missed on the end of Blaze. They have Cho'Gall, Lili, and Battery all in the mid lane, while Sonya's still soaking bottom. Jaina is solo soaking that top lane. And Theocles actually gets off the point as he was afraid that potentially a gank was coming. And this is the power of Cho'Gall, guys. I mean, look how much damage Gilletta has taken, being poked down very quickly. Plaz himself also in an awkward spot. Rafflecopter goes for the flank onto Laz, and that's a very dead Raynor. Will the hook come out? They're looking for Lunara. They're trying to get it. Battery goes for the hook, does not end up connecting with anyone, and they're going to secure the rest of these shots potentially, as they do have level 4. It'll be very hard for OVO to re-engage without their Raynor, and we'll see if they can force them off of top as well. Theocles actually getting very low to these minions. He's going to have to be careful because Yuge is coming up. He has to use the Wraithwalk to get away. Rafflecopter looking for the Wraithwalk to end, and boom, very dead Theocles. Lex Luthor getting low. A nice dodge on the hook, though, and Blaze doing a good job. They secure themselves another kill, and the rest of these shots.
Great Blizzard placement from Rafflecopter, knowing where the Wraithwalk is going to end and catching him in that to make sure that they can get yet another kill. And with that, they do get the last few shots. Cho'Gall going to start moving back into the bottom, as Zoia has been soaking here for quite a while, and they want to catch back up in that and make sure no more sieging happens to their structures there in the bottom, because it is the next temple phase in bottom. You don't want to lose too much, otherwise you can run into issues when it comes to that next temple phase. And they're going to move up. Cho'Gall very good at being able to jungle and take out mercenary camps by themselves, although they do have Huge helping them out with this one.
Like the slam build coming out from Stitches. It's a fun style to play Stitches because he's not a solo warrior this game, right? You know, he's got in fact, Cho'Gall's more tanky than him, so he's going to be going for a more utility damage style, you know, as he probably won't be getting focus fired too much. Nice hook goes down onto Laz. Without Jaina being here, though, it's going to be hard for them to secure a kill off of just one hook. Cho'Gall has great damage, but it's spread out over time because he doesn't have mana. Gall can spam spells for days, and you know, that's where his strength lies, is eventually just out-sustaining anyone, because how do you out-sustain something that, you know, won't ever stop?
Yeah, and they have, with their next talent picks, really good potential to just constantly siege and poke, because they got rollback, where the Rune Bomb always comes back to you and then bombs away, which is going to increase the range of Rune Bomb by 20%. So that just goes out, and then on its way back does even more damage too, and they can constantly just siege and throw that out, because, like you said, Zoia, it doesn't cost any mana to do so. It's free for them to just continue to roll those back out and then come back in and look to do damage to structures, to heroes, and even to minion waves too.
Both teams having level 7. Cho'Gall still soaking this bottom lane. Going to be doing a good job of not only protecting it, but weakening his opponent's base, as Cho'Gall can siege from so far away. It's going to help the Shrine phase out a lot. At the same time, Battery and Rafflecopter are going to secure the Knights for Blaze, while OVO is going to be taking it with Lex Luthor, Theocles, and Gilletto. So both teams going to have their Knights pushing the top lane, as they will all be contesting this bottom Shrine.
The bottom shrine is starting, and looks like Rafflecopter just now securing those bruisers, so they will be fighting each other, and that's nice that they won't at least have to worry about them pushing on to their fort. They're up in the top. Everyone's starting to rotate into the bottom. Claudius and Jason, as Cho'Gall taking a lot of damage, have to use a well tap, as Lily not quite here to help heal them back up. But that is a concern, that they had to use that tap right as they're starting this temple fight.
Well, we do see that the Shrine is being contested by OVO right now. They've gotten a good portion of these shots, but Battery is coming in to force them off of it. Rafflecopter and Yush have to be careful, though, not to overextend. Battery taking a lot of damage from the Oculus and Trap Queen right now. Still good damage coming out from Klassen as well as Yush, trying to get Telaz back there. And now big engagements happening. Trap Queen being surrounded, gets a good spin on Battery and Yush. Going straight for Rafflecopter. Good hook goes down to Telaz. Rafflecopter trying to blow him up. He's going to go down. Telaz is going to fall, but at the same time, both Cho'Gall and Lily end up falling. Now this is suddenly a 4 versus 2. The Oculus getting very low. Nice juke on the Frostbolt.
All right, there's still plenty of shots left that they will be able to get the first fort of the game, and with that, also their heroic abilities, as they're right in league to be able to get that now. Rafflecopter doing what he can to push people off of this, but needs to be careful as soon as they pick that up, Entomb could be the choice there, and then they could go after Raffle, and they know it. He's going to start to run away, and it is going to be Entomb picked up as well as Thornwood Vine. Rainer's Raiders instead of Hyperion, more single target damage, and it makes a lot of sense when you're up against Cho'Gall. Wrath of the Berserker for Sonya, and finally we have Ancestral Healing for Rhaegar.
And then the Blaze, take a look at it. It's going to be Water Elemental from Jaina, Jugs of 1,000 Cups from Lily, Putrid Bile on Stitches, Shadowbolt Volley on Gall, and then the Hammer of Twilight picked up for Cho.
Speaking of Lily, I guess we should go over her build a little bit, but let's wait on that because Trap Queen is in trouble, as I see Zoya shaking his head about talking about the Lily build. We do have Mass Vortex, which is going to increase the number of people who are blinded. That's going to be nice against the team of OVO Gaming, and I like the pickup of Lily in that case because of the blinds that she does provide to them, since they do have so much auto attack damage between their damage heroes. Also, the good stuff, providing additional healing over time, and that's going to be key because of the fact that with such large health pools, it will at least help get those tanky heroes healed back up on her team.
Especially with Lunara, who's got mainly a damage over time.
Yeah.
The heal stuff out up there. I love the blind pickup. You know, I mean, everyone on this team does good auto attack damage. Lunara, Leoric, Raynor, Sonya, and Rhaegar himself as well have really good auto attack. So the blind's going to help out quite a bit in this, especially versus Cho'Gall. I mean, even 2 auto attacks missing from Raynor is going to help them in these long fights. For you know, Klassen's going to be getting chunked once they have that level 13 giant killer.
Yeah. I mean, Leoric's auto attacks are really slow, but they do a lot of damage too.
Yes.
So having that is going to be pretty nice. And Klassen and Yuj coming in, maybe trying to pick up a kill onto Sonya or Rhaegar. They're working on it. There's a lot of blinds that we do see, but she's coming back in with the spear now too. Both teams on even talent here. Shadowbolt Volley going out, doing a bunch of damage to Gillette, who has to bounce her merry way away because that is a ton of damage that comes out from that Shadowbolt Volley. But now Talaz has rotated around too, going to push Cho'Gall away with a penetrating round, and the next temple phase has started.
Battery already at the top, soaking that top temple. He has to be careful as his team is being collapsed upon. Classion might end up getting caught in the tomb, but no, Theoclis not willing to use it. They're going to go ahead and back out of here. They end up killing the ward off at the boss for Cho'Gall as well. So it's going to be a shrine trade here. And OVO's has these slight advantages. They're ahead on structures, but they're looking to try and force a fight. I like this decision. They know it's going to be 4 versus 3 as it is a Cho'Gall, and they're just trying to get as much value as they can.
Something to remember about Cho'Gall and Team Blaze's composition in general is in the late game they have some heroes that just get so strong. Like once you get Kung Fu Hustle with Yuj, the healing becomes insane because of the reduced cooldowns there. And Shadowbolt Volley, when you get Shadow Fury on that and it's piercing, that's terrifying to have to deal with. And Entomb goes down onto Cho'Gall as Lex Luthor's going to come in too. He uses the Molten Block that's just been picked up at 13. It does damage, but also just enables his team to get back into the fight a little bit. Shadowbolt Volley going down, and Ancestral Healing has to be used to keep Trap Queen into this fight. But similarly, Jug of 1,000 Cups is going to be used, and now is over. And that's the cue for OVO Gaming to get back into this fight, but they're taking a bunch of damage from the poke so far. A Drain Hope went down onto Claeson. Battery dodges the penetrating round, but the poison is so good for Lunara. It should be enough to take him out, and at the same time, Jaina will fall too, so 2 takedowns thus far for OVO Gaming.
Yeah, the real weakness of Lily as a healer is showing here. I mean, she just doesn't have the numbers to keep up this tanky of a front line. You know, Jug of 1,000 Cups, yes, it heals for a lot, but once that's down, you know, the heals cannot be spread across the board until she gets 2 for 1. And until then, I mean, it's so tough to keep up with the healing. When there's so much AoE damage, so much spreading out on the focus fire, it's too much for Lily to deal with.
They do have Surging Winds, at least to try to help with that, help with her capabilities too, but it is a lot. Molten Block helps some for Cho'Gall, at least helps last through some of the damage, as we saw, until his team could get there. And they do have Dread Shield, too, from Gall, trying to give them a little bit more tankiness. But you talked about the fact that Battery is not going for a tanky Stitches build this time. We don't have the Amplified Healing. We don't have Hungry for More. It is the full-on Slam build. So while he does do a lot more damage with that Slam, he's sacrificing a lot by not having that. Only picking up Last Bite so that he at least has Devour up more for that self-healing.
Yeah, which is really, really important, especially with this comp. But as long as Blaze can keep their heads in the game and get to level 16 without being too far behind, they're still well in this game. 16 is going to be a very important tier for these guys. Where the Raffle Copper goes Northern Exposure, I mean, the extra damage could help them some cure kills, the extra healing from Lily at that tier. I mean, it's just overall a really important tier for them. So as long as they don't fall too far behind, as they are about to lose their top 4, it's going to put oVo so close to 16. Battery was able to get these Knights and just get out there just in time. Raffle Copper, be careful, as oVo not only has a members advantage right now, but they're just about to hit 16.
Yeah, and they know that they can't contest this temple. It's a hard spot to get into a fight in anyway because of the setup of how to get into and out of that temple, but pair that with not having those 16 talents and their opponents do having it, and they know that it's just much better to try to get a push in other lanes and try to pick up those talents first before they get into another fight. Meanwhile, we did have Giant Killer picked up for both Lunara as well as Raynor, so they did decide to go for that over unfair advantage this time, and I like that choice versus this tanky team.
It's going to help out a lot. Chunking Cho is going to be so important here. At the same time, we do see that Blaze isn't going to go ahead and back. They were soaking these lanes as well as they could, but they know they have to defend this keep. If they leave it uncontested, the push will be able to take it. The shots are going to do a lot on their own. Shouldn't be enough to take the keep, but a good decision-making from oVo. They show that they're willing to threaten the keep. They force Blaze to back out of lane so they don't get 16 as fast as possible, and then they just back out. They don't overcommit to it, and that keep just barely stands about 1/4 HP left on it as Blaze so close to level 16.
It's almost here. And what will they do with it? Also, Spell Shield on the Orc, so not Crushing Hope. They did get Unyielding Despair though, so they still have Drain Hope up more often, but the Crushing Hope would have done a lot more damage to oVo Gaming, as they just want to make sure that they don't take too much damage from the Gall as well as Jaina. Speaking of the numbers, let's look at that, as Gall leading the charge when it comes to hero damage, and that's generally how it goes when you have the Cho'Gall these days, is because of the fact that he can just spam his abilities. He gets so much damage on the enemy team.
Well, Spell Shield is definitely an interesting pickup in my mind. There's so many things that can proc it. It is a long cooldown, 30 seconds. You have the blind from Lily, the random poke from Cho'Gall. There's so many things that can, even Slam, because he does have that increased rate. There's just so many things that can prop Spell Shield that it's definitely an interesting pickup in my mind. I know the intention was to avoid the Jaina burst when it comes down on top of him, but more than likely, Blaze is a good enough team to realize when Spell Shield is up and to break it.
Yep. And now we're going to get into a fight as Entomb goes down onto Yuge. Does use Jug of 1,000 Cups, though, and has the tanky people right in front of them as Leoric already taken out, and Lex Luthor's going to follow. Shadow Bolt Volley got so much value in that close area. Trap Queen now stuck between so many members of the team of Blaze, and they will be able to make sure that she goes down as well. And now they're finally starting to push back. They knew that they picked up those 16 talents, and they knew they wanted to get into the fight now while they were on the even tier so that they could start coming back into this game. And they're going to take that advantage and start working on taking down some of the towers in front of this mid keep.
MVP of that fight definitely goes to Klassen. I mean, great hook on Gilletto as he's going to go down. That's another kill. Leoric is back up, going to do some damage to Battery, but they should be able to move out here just fine. But great positioning. Not only it was such perfect way for that fight. That was a really scary engage onto Blaze. They caught Lily in the Entomb. She immediately popped Jugs. No one interrupted it, unfortunately. They really needed to use Penetrating Round to interrupt that as soon as possible. But what Claudius did, he moved in front of the Lily to body block between the 3 members of it, and then immediately Jason pops the Shadow Bolt Volley, which completely dominated that backline. At the same time, up above, Stitches and Jaina were securing a kill of their own. I mean, that was just such a beautiful play from Blaze that won them that fight. I mean, it was perfectly executed.
The nice thing, too, is if they really got into trouble there by body blocking Yuge, they always have that Molten Block. And now that they picked up Twilight Nova at 16, that's so many more Dread Orbs that can hit and give that shield to Cho'Gall. So they've really started to get more tanky and have that tankiness. Now they're picking up the rest of this temple. We have Pulverize too for Slam at Stitches, so he's going to be able to kind of catch people by himself, right? Like we talk about the follow-up from a hook being important. Now he can just hook and then throw his Slam down and catch them by himself with that 75% slow. Enough for Jaina to be able to finish them off with a combo.
For people who are newer to the game, this actually used to be the go-to build on Stitches.
Yeah.
But not only did Slam do like infinitely more damage, but Pulverize stunned. It didn't slow, it just stunned. It was actually, Stitches was the most insane hero at the time. He not only topped meters, like literally top damage in the game, but he also, you know, had an AoE massive stun. So nice to see they went a different direction with Stitches, as he's in a much more friendly position when it comes to the meta. But it's cool to see this build popping up again. You know, it's a very unique situation. It's not going to become the norm, but I like it what they're doing here with Battery. They do look like they accidentally started the boss to end up disengaging here. And Blaze doesn't want to fight just yet. oVo is trying to force this fight as hard as they can, but Blaze they just want to get level 16, or excuse me, level 20.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They're totally fine with just moving back. They're even fine with giving up the top temple. A lot of it was given up, and in fact, they baited down to this boss, which was great because it did pull OVO Gaming down, and now they have 20, and so now they should be able to either go after, it looks like they're going to have to come back to the boss, as Yuge does spot out that OVO is trying to bait them back into this, but they themselves have to be careful until they get the Storm Talons. So a good job of Blaze in being able to use the fact that the boss was up to deny OVO of being able to pick up all of that temple.
Well, they do end up, the Knights end up getting cleared up. Here's level 20. It's a very important tier. I mean, like, Shadow Fury is, like, one of the best talents in the game.
Yeah.
It makes heroic, like, exponentially better, and it's already a good heroic, so it's a really, really great tier there. We see Cthulhu's Gift picked up as well from Cho. A really cool pickup there. Hardened Shield on Stitches is really important because, well, you know, he's going this crazy damage build, and you know what? He's not very tanky, but now he has Hardened Shield for whenever they, you know, try and blow him up.
Yep, and Kung Fu Hustle, Lili's most important talent. Being able to have that. Oculus has been caught out. Gonna have to Wraith Walk away, but they do have level 20 of their own. Spectral Leech, the choice for Leoric, and that's gonna be huge if he can get that versus either Cho'Gall or Stitches, but especially Cho'Gall because it does heal him back up too, so it's going to give him survivability as well as dealing massive damage. There was the Pulverize for the extra slow, and Oculus has to use Wraithwalk once away, but the pull back, and now they're going to be able to get a kill with it. A great hook. Man, that hook placement was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, really showing off his skill on the hero Stitches. Theoculus is scouting out exactly what's happening, though. Alphacopter, Yuge, Clayson, and Battery looking that they want to start this boss, but they have to be careful because Battery's going to be looking for those hooks on Talaz and Gilletto. This might be too greedy of a play. Theoculus is a few seconds off from rezzing. Clayson doing a good job of tanking as well as Battery. The boss is about to go down. Raiders has been popped. A lot of damage going down. There's a Shadow Bolt volley doing so much damage to Gilletto. He's getting low in the backline. Talaz is going to fall. Ancestral does not connect, and the boss goes to Blaze. Trap Queen very overextended. Does end up spearing out, but the hook is perfectly from Battery, and he might end up going down here. He's trying to spin his way out. Clayson looking for the kill with the Shadow Fury, but not going to be able to get it. Trap Queen just barely going to survive. Theoculus going to get blown up very fast there. He's going to fall. That's 2 members down for the next 40 seconds. There's a boss pushing bottom lane. Let's see what Blaze can do with it.
Man, even with Rainer's Raiders, with all the single target damage that OVO Gaming have, Clayson stayed nice and healthy there through that fight. And now with this boss, they're able to take out both of the towers. OVO Gaming have to be so careful because Battery's hooks have been incredibly on point this game, and it's so scary, especially with Rainer and Leoric down. If they lose anybody else, like this might be game just now anyway, but if they lose anyone else, it's guaranteed.
They're going for it, Gilly. Heroics are almost all up. Putrid Bile up in 6 seconds. Everything else will be up except for Watermental by then. Trap Queen taking a lot of damage, and he's going to fall very quickly. Gilletto next to her in a lot of trouble as well. Gilletto gets very low to the Shadow Bolt volley, but not enough to secure it. Rhaegar's going to follow Jaina. Clayson taking a lot of damage. He does have to pop that Molten Block, and he's taking a lot from Theoculus, but he's not going to fall just yet. The core's going down, Gilly, and there they've done it. 3 qualifiers in a row. Blaze returns to the round of 4.
Where they will face King of Blades Alpha tomorrow to see who will qualify and join the 4 teams already who have done so and will be at regionals at the end of February.
Yeah, I mean, it's Blaze. I think everyone expected this. I mean, I think everyone has expected that Blaze has a chance to qualify in every one of these events. You know, they are... a team that can cause upsets. Their drafts are surprising enough that you can be caught off guard from them, and it's going to be a tough matchup there tomorrow. Let's do we know who they're playing? It's King of Blades Alpha, right? We've talked about that like 3 times. So, congratulations to Blaze. They make it to the round of 4. They've got a tough road as Kings of Blade Alpha. Week after week, they are improving drastically. At Heroes Rising, it was not impressed with them at all. And now they're starting to take games off of fantastic teams. They defeated Tempo Storm in one of the Enter the Storm qualifiers. They just took out 2ARC, which I don't think very many people were expecting. I mean, they are on the rise and looking very good.
Yeah, especially since 2ARC were able to win that Enter the Storm qualifier versus, I believe, Resurgence was who they were playing. So 2ARC also looking very good. So great job by King of Blades to be able to get that. And we'll see who's going to qualify. Looking at the bottom half of the bracket, we still have Panda Global and King of Blades Epsilon playing, as well as Team Nam and Resurgence. Not sure which of those we'll be hosting, but we should be hosting one of those here. But yeah, fantastic job. Can't wait to see who gets to qualify tomorrow night. And it will be the same time, guys, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time to see those final 2 semifinal games.
Yes, when we will be casting tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
We just got word that we will be casting, as long as Jacoby will be casting tomorrow as well. I hate myself for calling them that. I'm infinitely tilted. I'm going to bed.
Do you know who we're casting? Are we going to be casting
I
King of
assume
Blades?
we're going to keep, who have they been following? They've been following
Probably Resurgence?
Resurgence, I believe. So let me just make 100% sure. They've been following Panda Global.
Oh, okay.
So they're on the other side of the bracket. So probably will be us casting Blaze again tomorrow.
And in fact, speaking of Panda Global, just got word that they won 2-0 versus King of Blades Epsilon. So congratulations to them. They move on to the semifinals as well. But still not quite sure yet. There's still some stuff going on, I think, with Resurgence and Team Nam. So not sure who will be their opponents.
Well, it looks like Jacoby's stream just ended, so we'll be throwing it over to Shane Gucher as he is still trying to grind up that last match that's been having quite a bit of delays. So we'll be throwing it on over there, but it's been a very fun day. We've got to cast some great games. Big shout out to all the teams, oVo and Blaze, for putting on a fantastic set there. Again, one more big congratulations to Blaze for tomorrow.
Yeah, now before we go, Zoya, any shout outs that you want to give, and where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at TempoZoya. You can just follow me on Twitter. I usually tweet when I'm on any shows or casting at all. You can also check out the team. Head over to TempoStorm.com. We did qualify for regionals. We qualified last Sunday, so make sure you cheer us all on at this event as well. You can big shout out to our sponsors, Twitch, G2A, Fnatic Gear. And Gilly, yes, you're asking about my shirt. It is a fantastic shirt.
Yeah, it looks great.
You can order this at intotheam.com, as well as a bunch of other Tempo Storm swag. We have shirts, sweaters, and amazing hats as well. So head on over there.
Awesome. Well, you guys, if you want to follow me, you can do so at Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, all Gillyweed SC2. And we will be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time to see if Team Blaze or if King of Blades Alpha will be moving on and qualifying for regionals. But that's it for us, guys. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hearts to you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Meow. Higgity hello? Gillyweed? Gillyweed?
No.
No? Can't go dubstep with your name?